Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Beast for Build. In today's episode, we're gonna put all these painted bits back on the car. The new bumper, the fixed bumper, the spoiler, all the side vents, all that stuff. We're throwing that back on the car, and then we're gonna jump in. We're gonna do some improvements like AC charge and some other things, and then some fixes like alignment and headliner and stuff like that. All these things to just get it back in good shape and ready for our road trip tomorrow. Stay tuned. Let's get started with a little review of how our paint went from last night. So this was painted, all this black stuff was painted with the 2-stage paint, where the white was a single-stage paint. And this paint went on really well. The clear did a great job of hiding some of the deeper scratches that we kind of had in the base coat and underneath. And it looks really good. The whole piece is, you know, it's a handmade fiberglass piece, so it's got a little bit of texture to it itself. And that's just from how it was created. But overall, it looks really good. It could use a wet sanding. Once it cures up and everything like that, I think this is a good candidate to get wet sanded and then buffed, kind of like what we have planned for Chelsea's roof. So all that stuff came out really good though. It all looks really nice, and it's really ready to roll. These side scoops look really cool too. So all that stuff's good. Whoa. Don't want to drop it. All that stuff's good and ready to be applied. It is a super, super hot day out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pack all this stuff back into the house, and then I'm gonna pull the car into here so we can start doing some work on the car and have this stuff out of the way. All right, the car is in. Chelsea's gonna be working on a deep clean most of the time here, and I'm just gonna start knocking things off the list. One of the things I have on the list is to clean the mass airflow sensor. That's this guy right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and replace the air filter as well, because I think that was a little bit of a cheaper air filter. I think it's time to get a new one on there. All right, well, I quickly uncovered the problem of the mass airflow sensor. So I popped the mass airflow sensor off of here, and I took it out, and I saw that it had a broken O-ring. There's an O-ring that sits in this section right here, and it had broken and opened up. So it's not the air filter. After inspecting this air filter, it's in really good looking condition. The inside looks like it's definitely doing its job. I'm not seeing a lot of contaminants in there. It's trapping the bad stuff on the outside. This looks good. And I remember there's a reason why we have a foam air intake on this car. It was something that the car was supposed to like because it brings in the air in a uniform way. Also, I love the sound that this one makes. So I'm gonna stick with that. The problem is definitely our mass airflow sensor. When I look over here at the sensor, which is probably not gonna focus on, I can tell it's definitely contaminated. It's got a ton of dirt and stuff and contaminants all around it, so it needs to be cleaned, but it needs that O-ring that used to go right there to be replaced. So I'm gonna run down to the hardware store, get a replacement O-ring, and then we should be back in business. Well, and then we're gonna clean it, then reinstall it. You guys know the drill. All right, I'm back from the hardware store. So we're gonna do MAF cleaner. Got several different O-rings to try and see which one fits the best. Gonna throw a new O-ring on there. That was definitely the problem that we had. I'll reassemble all that, kick it on, give it a start, and give it a chance to see how it goes. Chelsea's gonna be working on our sagging headliner. She's got a strategy of, we're gonna stab a hole in the headliner, and we're gonna spray adhesive on the inside, stick the headliner up, and then we're going straight junkie style, and we've got needles that we're gonna fill with super glue and stab holes in the headliner and super glue it to make sure it doesn't ever fall down again. If that seems like a crazy idea, it's because I came up with it. We'll see how it goes. While all that's going on, we're doing 3 things at once. Eric is here. He's gonna be removing this front right wheel because we believe that the AC charge lines are hiding somewhere behind it right about here. So Eric is gonna pull this wheel off and look for those AC charge lines so we can get our AC recharged. All right, we got the MAF cleaned up, reinstalled, air filter back on, that's good to go. So we'll, when we turn the car on to charge the AC system, that's when we'll test that out. I expect it'll work great. So over here, Eric pulled off our wheel and brought down the mud guard, and you can see our AC charge ports are right there. And one of these is gonna be the low pressure line. That's the one you wanna connect to, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the interesting thing is I'm not sure if I even tightly connected all of the AC system when I installed this thing. I don't remember anything about the AC system, but there's where you connect it. When we walk up here, we have an AC condenser right here. So if it's all bolted in, this will all work. We just gotta give it a try. Everybody at home, cross your fingers. Chelsea, how's it going?
No, it's okay.
All right, roof looks like a roof. Let's start this car, see how it starts up. Much better. That's a good cold start. Now that that's on, we gotta crank this up to coldest, AC to max, fan to, whoa! Fan's blasting. Let's charge that AC up. We ran down to the auto parts store and rented a full-on bleed kit. We found out that the AC compressor was running because we had one really cold line and one really hot line, but we think there's air trapped in the system. So we're gonna go ahead and try and bleed the air out, pump the air out of it, and fill it back up from scratch. All right, we pulled vacuum on the system. We got all the air out of there. It's moment of truth. I'm gonna turn it on. Eric's gonna try and charge it. I expect cold air coming out of there. All right, that is a wrap on coolant. I know you guys can't feel it, but we have super cold air coming out of here at this point now. We put 4 cans of coolant in there, so it must be a massive, massive cooling system. But this is a huge upgrade to be able to have cold air in this vehicle. All right, with the AC wrapped up, the next thing we're gonna do is a little bit of string alignment. We're gonna get the wheels as close as we can by eye, and then we're gonna realign them with the string, lining up the back wheels with the front wheels so everything's straight. Success! The basic string alignment is done. We've got the steering wheel straight and we've got the front wheels, or the rear wheels straight, wait, the front wheels in line with the rear wheels. Just trust me on this one. It's improved. It's improved drastically. No more toed out wheel like we had over here. What's up, Eric? What's going on next? Oil change?
Dropping the car down. Then we gotta do the oil change and then washy.
Yeah, we're really running out of things to do. Really, like, well, not, but we're getting through the list. I need to work on these with a little cleanup around here, and then also an oil change. So I think Eric and I are gonna divide and conquer. Eric, you'll work on the oil change, and I'll work on the side mirrors. And Chelsea's working on cleaning the entire car with hand sanitizer. We found that that's the best thing to eliminate sap. So there's a lot of sap on this car. So we got a gallon of hand sanitizer, and she's been getting after it. And the roof is looking fantastic. Update time. So Eric is under here. I thought it was 4 bolts to get to the tray that takes these things off. Turns out it's 19. Just 19 bolts. 4 bolts and 15 of its closest friends. And then Eric, okay, let's see, where is the oil filter housing?
Oil pan here and the oil filter housing is right here.
Okay, right up there. And there's a special tool from Toyota that you need to get the oil filter housing off. So I ordered this ahead of time, and now Eric's got it. So obviously drain the oil, take the oil filter out, replace the oil filter, replace the oil. Good to go. Meanwhile, I'm over here getting the rust off of these plates. So I'm gonna get the rust off, paint the backside. I have no idea why I didn't paint the backside before. Maybe I thought these were stainless steel. I don't know. Paint the backside, repaint the front side. Then we need to polish up the mirrors and do a few improvements and paint all the little pieces to get these things looking decent again. We're gonna order the factory Lotus mirrors and replace these in the long run, but for now, gotta make these do. another status update. Engine stuff all done. So we've hit our goals mechanically for the car. We've got the alignment fixed, we've got the air conditioning done, we've got the oil changed. The car is ready for the road trip. So that's awesome. The mirrors look fantastic. The whole mirror housing and everything going on with that looks great, but they need to dry up, so I'm giving them time to dry up. Now it's time to move on. It's about 12:45 at night. You guys know last night I did not get a lot of sleep. I was probably about 4.5 hours of sleep. So I really got to get this stuff going, you know, as fast as possible, but obviously don't want to rush anything. So the wing is all painted. It's all ready to be assembled, and then we will go ahead and mount it up right here. The bolts come in through the bottom, and that'll mount up our wing and just get one more thing off the list. I'm just gonna start knocking things off the list. It should be all cosmetic from here on out. All right, the rear spoiler has been installed. That's a great little rear spoiler. I really like that on this car. That's not a factory option. We ordered that one. That's special. Same people that made the front bumper made that. So that's on. Now let's move on to the side scoops. Let's put the side scoops on. Those are just double-sided tape. That's why we have that residue around there, because I didn't want to risk scratching the paint just to get it off, and we're going to put more on. So let's slap our scoop on both sides. Scoops are on both sides. There's got to be an easy one, you know. There's always got to be an easy one. So now let's go ahead and reinstall the mirrors. So the mirrors, we got to do a little double-sided tape right here to get some adhesion between these two things, and then they connect in right here and here. Side mirrors are installed. They look fantastic. I've always liked the look of this style mirror, but there were a lot of comments online about how a lot of people just didn't actually like, aesthetically, they didn't like the look. But the problem that I found with them after having them for a while is they just don't really work as well as the stock mirrors as far as visibility. And when you have a car like this, the visibility is really, really low already. So you need all the visibility you can have, and these kind of hinder that. So the days for these mirrors is limited. I'm working on finding the OEM kind of set, finding out what I still have left over and what I need to order to have go back to the OEM mirrors though. So they'll be black, but they're not going to be these for too long. You know, it's just, you need all the visibility you can get when you're looking through a mid-engine car through a tiny little hole in the back and everything else like that. So moving on to the front, I got to desap the headlights. Basically every inch of this car, I don't know what tree it was parked under, but it had sap on it, which I promise you guys this will not happen again. So we've been desapping everything with hand sanitizer, and the headlights are the last thing. And then I got to put our little brake reservoir cover back on, and then we'll be ready for the front bumper. All right, it's 2 a.m. and I'm really anxious to get this thing wrapped up. I really want to get home so I can get some sleep before the long drive tomorrow. I think the best way to do the front bumper, since there's kind of a lot of assembly to the front bumper and a lot of intricacies, and I could really use the lighting, is to flip the car around. So I'm going to pull the car out, I'm going to drive it back in, and we'll have a bunch of room where the car is now. Then we'll jack it up by the front, throw some jack stands under there, and then we should be able to install the front bumper, assemble the front bumper, and get the under tray in there as well. Ta-da! It's put back together. I got the under tray in there, I got the bumper in there, I got the bumper grills in the bumper, I painted them black, and everything looks fantastic. I'm deliriously tired. It's 4 a.m. I still need to clean that windshield. It's a little bit foggier than it should be, but that's the end of it. I'm gonna lower this car down, I'm gonna pack it up, I'm gonna get home, I'm gonna sleep for 4 hours before we drive this baby to San Francisco. I do not know where to start, but I'll try and make this quick. It is several days later. I'm in California. I'm at VidCon doing some meetings with some sponsors, and the Evora is not here. I apologize to all you guys. We had to cancel the San Francisco meet. That's my bad. Well, it's delayed. It's not canceled. And we took the Aston Martin instead. And the Aston Martin's doing fantastic. What happened was, you know, I got the car home that night. The next morning we started driving it. Once the freeways really opened up, I got it up to like 65 and I noticed a wobble in the steering wheel. About 70, it got worse, and then at 80, it got what I considered like pretty bad. Like, I did not want to drive 2,000 miles like that. I felt like it was going to do damage to the car, or potentially, or just annoy the crap out of me for way too long. So I decided, turn around, went back home, packed up the Aston Martin, and took off. So, so basically, what I believe caused this is our alignment. We didn't change anything else that would affect this, and I did a diagnostic and made sure, you know, lug nuts are on tight, wheel weights are still on, everything's still on. But I think our string alignment trick, not really a good trick. I think you need a 4-corner string alignment, so you can have like 2 lines in the back as well to make sure everything's straight. So I think we screwed up the alignment with the car, and then that caused us wobbling. So from now on the channel, you'll probably see me make time for professional alignments. So that's the deal. The Evora, other than that, is pretty much set up. So I will get it aligned, and we'll finish cleaning it, and I'll show you guys that in the next week here. But for now, like I said, I'm here doing some meetings, and I'm home tomorrow. By the time you guys see this, I'll already be back home. And then we're coming back down to San Francisco because we're gonna get the Z shell. So that's the next episode you guys are gonna see, is I'm gonna go get my new 240Z, which is really awesome. So that's when the San Francisco meet is rescheduled for, is the next time I'm down there, which is you know, pretty soon, 2 days from the day this episode comes out, 2 or 3. So if you're interested in meeting and you're in the San Francisco area, we're gonna be meeting in Alameda, and I'll post all the information on that on the Instagram once again. And sorry for all you guys that I had to cancel on. Well, it wasn't cancel, it was a delay, a reschedule. Sorry for having to reschedule everybody in San Francisco. But I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple days. So that's it, that's the schedule. Episodes will not be coming out as normal because I gotta wrap up here, fly home, then come back and blah, blah, blah. But I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys soon, and we'll go get a Z in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for everything. Thanks for all the support. I appreciate it so much. Peace.